All right, what's up, everybody? Today is December 5th, 2025, and we just finished watching the first episode of the Sean Combs The Reckoning documentary on Netflix, famously produced by 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. It was an interesting hour. What did you think of it?
For the most part, I enjoyed it. Like, I saw some footage that I didn't know about it before, and it was cool to see how he came up in the music industry. Like, I knew the overall general, details about his life, but I didn't know this much, obviously. And I also didn't know about like his childhood, that like about his father, about his mother. I didn't know that part. Only downside was like it was at times they did like too much dramatization. I felt like yeah, there are things that he did that were bad. But like upping the scary music is not like
Sean was dancing as a kid. Doom.
yeah.
His mother made him get in front of adults and dance. Do 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 do.
Yeah, little over dramatization at parts, but for the most part, it was good.
I think the most interesting aspect of this documentary is actually the commentary outside of it. The fact that this was produced by 50 Cent, a man who has had beef with Diddy for like the past 15 years at least, and is over something so petty, I would say. Like, the story goes that Diddy told 50 Cent, "Hey man, let me take you shopping." and Sean took that as a type of disrespect or like a pass. Like, he's trying to hit on me, because Diddy's had all those gay rumors on him. And I feel like on this channel, maybe people get the impression that I'm pro Diddy. You know what I mean? During the commentary that I've been giving about the trial and all the accusations and stuff like that. This is not a pro Diddy channel, and I wouldn't say I'm pro Diddy. I just think, he is a very sick individual. He is sick. He's twisted. Power and money corrupt everything. And that's sort of what I got from this documentary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too. But I mean, it's not that it's an excuse, but I think they did a good job explaining like why he became that way.
Yeah. I also think, once again, going to the outside aspect of this. So while, the film actually opens up showing like Diddy on the phone with like his lawyer, like 6 days before he gets arrested for the major RICO case, right? And, he's filming this himself. You know what I mean? So I think the story is that Diddy was actually going to do a documentary with Netflix to try to clear up his name. So he's paying like a filmographer to like follow him around and stuff like that. But then when he goes to jail, Netflix hollers at 50 Cent to them, and they say, "Hey, we got all this footage from Diddy. You want to use it?" And then they flip the script and make all this what's supposed to be positive footage into a takedown of him, which I think is so twisted. Like, these companies don't care about anybody. They just want to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. I knew it was gonna be like that. That like the true crime stuff that Netflix does.
Yeah.
And they're like, the victim was helpless.
Yeah. I don't think Netflix has done a positive hip hop documentary on a singular individual other than Yeezus. Or you remember the Kanye documentary, the 3-part series that came out a few years ago, and everybody was like, that's one of the best hip hop documentaries ever. It was so inspirational. Like, you saw Kanye go from 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they did some good ones. Like, for example, I watched the Woman in Hip Hop.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not on one person.
Yeah.
So I get that, but yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, true crime is like one of the biggest genres, and that's Netflix's like bread and butter, because those cost like $100 to make.
Yeah.
And you can make $1 million off of it,
You just need like some scary music license.
Yeah, scary music license, a few
an interview room.
Yeah, a few pictures of the killer as a child, and like 5 women that say, "And then he took me to the basement," and then that's it. You have a true crime.
Those stories are actually actually real.
I know they're real.
So stop making fun of their pain.
I'm not making fun of the pain, but I think overall true crime is a exploitative industry. Like we have so much murder, death, rape in America that you can make a whole $1 billion industry making films about it. That's a deeper comment, but one more thing I gotta say about this documentary, like a lot of it for me, I was familiar with, but I thought it was interesting. Number one, the Erick Sermon story. I never knew that Erick Sermon of the rap group EPMD dated Misa Hilton, and then Diddy took his girl and made Erick Sermon's girl his baby mama. So I don't know. What did you think about?
He said they weren't dating though with Misa.
No, he said, like Erick Sermon said, he had to have the girl, so he sort of took my girl, but I was still cool with him. So but what did you think about that? Because that's sort of like a repeated commentary about Diddy throughout this.
Yeah, I think like just that part of him about like how he treats women and overall like that sort of, I don't know, ambition towards women. I think that comes from like his dad and his childhood and also his mom too. And I think like, yeah, he always kind of had that even when he wasn't famous and super powerful. But then with fame and power, it just amplifies it.
Yeah. I just think, he was a megalomaniac and who probably viewed women as sex objects and things to be exploited. He was a man of his time because like rape culture, sexism was like high in the, 80s, 90s, you know what I mean? I would argue even still to this day, but it was turned up a notch because like there's comments of like, Kim Porter was the secretary at Uptown Records, right? And every time Diddy would see her, he would flirt with her at the front desk and say, "Can I get a kiss? Can I take you out?" Like that's sexual harassment by today's standards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, today we would call that person a stalker.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But yeah, it's also like, if you don't really see around you, even not necessarily even your mom and dad, those are the biggest influences, but just in general, if you don't see a good example of relationships, healthy relationship around you, it's really hard for you to then do that later in your life. Not impossible, but then also on top of it, I feel like he also has a lot of inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Even though he has like a lot of fame and money, or he had at least, it's just like those things that are in our childhood just always affect us.
Yeah, the way they put it, or like the way the guy in the documentary who founded Bad Boy Records with Diddy put it is like he became a paper gangster who also wanted to be a street gangster. And I think, like you said, he has an inferiority complex because his father was like this big time dope guy who got killed, in a glorious street fashion, right? And meanwhile, Diddy is like on the phone yelling at Clive Davis about contracts. Like that's gangster, but it's not gangster. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to like live out his fantasies of being the man, the Don. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also they talk about like that he was bullied and stuff when he was younger. But I like the fact that, I was thinking if your friends are telling these things about you, then you're probably even more fucked up than we imagined.
Yeah. But, and by the way, thank you for doing this, even though you're just coming off of sickness right now. I appreciate that. So don't nobody come for my wife talking about why she coughing so much. Don't nobody say nothing. But no, one more thing I got to say, going back to the women aspect, there was this very heart-wrenching story of this young woman. I think I forgot her name, Joe Presley or something like that.
Joy or something.
Joy, right? So basically this young woman back in like the early 90s, like 1990, 1991, was the first to come out and say like, Sean videotaped me after drugging me and taking advantage of me, right? And they have letters back from like 1992 of them wrestling with this and trying to reach out to Sean to like, apologize for it and stuff like that. And, it's got to be so weird to see your rapist like on Times Square billboards, you know what I mean? On MTV, on the cover of magazines, you know what I mean? And I had to check myself, like, in my mind from thinking, like, okay, is there a different side of this story and stuff like that? Because, that's not cool. It's not cool to, like, somebody's talking about their pain and willing to come forward, and not having money, not having access. Of course, they're not going to be able to, have the reach and the pull, you know what I mean, to take down powerful men. And it also made me think about like all the statues we have in our country of like the founding fathers, and all of them, even if not all of them, a lot of them owned slaves, you know what I mean? And I'm imagining like Sally Hemings looking up at a statue of Thomas Jefferson, her own rapist, you know what I mean? And that's sort of like, I had to like check myself on that, and also recognize like women live with rapists being lauded and applauded, you know what I mean? We got one in the White House right now, and everybody looks up to him, and he's been convicted of taking advantage of women in similar ways as Diddy, you know what I'm saying? So any comments on that?
Yeah, I like how they did that part just in general, because they really gave her like time to talk and go through like the process of everything that happened to her. Because like you said, most of the time, like when women come forward with their, stories and their truths, they usually get these questions like, oh, like, but why didn't you speak out earlier? Well, why are you like suing him now? Are you trying to just only get money? Like, we don't think it's really happened, and all this sorts of like extra information women have to prove. And it was like, just, I feel like it was good that they showed like that she tried to do something. She tried to sue him, but every other person said, oh, we can't give you evidence because if we give you evidence, we're going to be bad with Diddy. So we don't want to do that. And like even her parents wrote a letter to Diddy's parents and things like that. So yeah, it's important that like survivors, they can take a long time to like come into terms, but they can also like fight and not get results, especially at that time in like 1991,
Absolutely. So, that was a very moving part. Some other things I really want to talk about real quick that were funny. Diddy has a Rasta yes man who is also his bicycle partner. And so the parts when he's riding through New York City and this Rasta man is like, yeah, man, they just trying to take the money. Bumba clock. It was like, that was funny for me. Another thing I thought was funny was the Eric Sermon story when Diddy tried to swing on him for hanging out with Misa Hilton. And Eric Sermon drove around the corner to go fight Diddy. And then Diddy plays Biggie's first album, Ready to Die. And he was like, damn, that shit fire. I don't even want to beat your ass no more, cuz that's the greatest album I've ever heard. That showed me like, number one, Diddy, like for money, people are willing to like sell their soul. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Rasta, like I look at Rastas the way people used to look at Muslims. Like y'all are some honorable brothers, you know what I mean? Y'all are vegetarian, y'all, smoke weed in a religious way. I admire Rastas low key, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a Rasta hanging out with Diddy for like $500 a day, I'm looking at you sideways. And secondly, people once again, are blinded by the light. Like Eric Sermon, you know what I mean? You weren't about to beat Diddy's ass just because the album fire? No, fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? In a lot of ways, Diddy should have got checked a long time ago. You know what I mean? Somebody should have been like, put hands on him for like how he was acting. He was wilding out in a lot of ways.
That's the part that I didn't know that much, that he was kind of doing this stuff even before he got famous.
Yeah.
So that was kind of shocking for me to like hear about it. But yeah, about like his yes man. the thing about it was like he's just the type of person I really hate. Not because all the things he did, but like the way he talks in general. It's just like very not humble.
Yeah.
He's like, all this like I don't know, haters, they're hating on me and I'm just like so good and I don't understand why this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Knowing that you did all this shit. Like I just hate that kind of person that's always like finding blame in others.
Yeah. What a nut.
Yeah.
What a nut. Anyway, that was just episode 1. I'm sure it gets worse in episode 2. The way they left off episode 1, it feels like they're going to talk about Sean's, supposed connections to getting Pac knocked off That's something I've talked about on this channel before, and that's like too deep gangster shit. Like basically, it's like gangster conspiracy theories, like how Diddy got Pac like killed, and it's just crazy. I've heard that in this documentary they're gonna start talking about how Diddy and Biggie were actually not that close, which to me is going to be like a reach, but I'd be interested to see how they do that. But after watching episode 1, does it make you actually want to continue, or does it make you say, I'm straight on that? You know, how do you feel?
I'd watch another episode.
Yeah.
I'd check it out. Because I'm also curious about the part where they're going to show, like, the oil parties.
The freak offs?
Yeah, I want, like, everyone who's involved, like, who was involved in those parties. I know they're going to show some video footages and photos.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm curious about that part.
All right. So, we'll watch the next few episodes and let you know what we think. Thank you for tuning into this video. Be easy out there. Peace.